Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. Click the link below. Please support our sponsor, ProPure USA. Grab a water filter today. Let them know AMTV and Christopher Green sent you. Today I want to talk about why the state of Texas, the Republic of Texas, will secede from the Union. In my opinion, it will be the first state to secede from the United States of America. Now, why would a state want to do this? And, a lot of common criticism is it wouldn't even be possible because, the federal government and the Union itself isn't going to allow this to happen without violence. But see, what people aren't taking into account is what is happening to the United States itself economically, structurally at this given moment in time in history. As I speak and deliver this message to you, the United States in and of itself is dissolving. This is the dissolution of an empire, much like what we saw with the collapse of the USSR and the Soviet Union in the 1990s. It sent it spiraling into a death spiral, a Great Depression that was worse in terms of measurements in GDP, gross domestic product, than what it was experienced in the 1930s here in the United States of America. This was due to failed economic policies. It was due also to the excessive printing of currency that sent Russia's currency into double-digit monthly inflation rates, otherwise known as hyperinflation, and sent the country itself literally into absolute chaos and into poverty. Some even turned to cannibalism. I'm not making that stuff up. That's how bad things really got. So in the atmosphere of a collapsing United States, as we are propelling even more debt, even more printing at the Federal Reserve, we're creating new bubbles in the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and capital markets in general are only helping to improve the likelihood and, in my opinion, assure the dissolution, not just of the dollar as the world reserve currency, but the dissolution of the United States itself. Now, states like Texas, which has three of the fastest of the five fastest growing cities in the country right now, which is economic wealthy, has rich natural resources like energy, oil, booming sectors such as healthcare and technology. In its epicenter of Austin, is also rated one of the best cities to do business in the country. For every dollar they send into the federal government in taxes, they get back less. This is really not common for a lot of states where Missouri, for example, for every dollar they send into the federal government, they get two back. So if they were to secede from the Union, they would be insolvent and would have to declare bankruptcy right out the gate. This is not the case or the truth when it comes to Texas. Texas would actually be more wealthy and more rich than it is today if it were to secede from the Union. So it's a economically viable alternative for them. Other questions and concerns we need to think about is how would Texas defend itself? Now, of course, with the United States collapsing and its social programs and its infrastructure in general dissolving, there would be millions of refugees swarming into places like Texas, and also would put itself in a position where it would have to defend itself. Now, Texas has more guns in the country, really arguably in the world, than probably any other place. It has its own standing army, so it can defend itself, although that would be a risk that would have to be considered. Of course, one of the reasons Texas first decided to join the Union itself was a result of the Mexican-American War and its fear that it couldn't defend itself from Mexico after recently declaring its independence. But see, what people really don't see is they don't see the big picture. They don't see the picture of the United States collapsing like Russia or other countries throughout history or other civilizations like Rome. They don't see Rome burning. But see, in an environment where the United States dissolves, where it can no longer support its infrastructure, where it can no longer pay its social programs like unemployment insurance or Social Security, creates an atmosphere and an environment that will encourage this type of movement, that will encourage the secessionist movement. So Texas, a great example, and in my opinion, what will be the first state to secede, will be one of many states seceding as the United States breaks apart and really turns into warring nation states, fighting violently, if need be, to declare their independence and their sovereignty. Of course, this was a condition of Texas joining the Union from the get-go. 15 years after it joined the Union, became a part of the United States, the Civil War ensued, where the North and South warred against each other, resulted in over 600,000 plus soldiers dead, and much of the Confederacy in the South destroyed. Texas, in and of itself, in my opinion, very likely to secede in the very near future as these clear and obvious bubbles that have been recreated in our capital markets pop, leave the American people and Americans in general destitute, all dependent on the federal government that can no longer support them. It's exactly why states like Texas will reclaim their independence and will reclaim their sovereignty, and it also is a realistic, viable alternative in a situation where the United States no longer exists. History does repeat itself. You should learn from your history. I'm Christopher Green. Please click the link below. Support our sponsor. Get this out everywhere. Make it viral, hard-hitting, and in your face.